Welcome to the season premiere of Beat the Champ. We're at Transit Lanes in Williamsville, New York with a great list of bowlers to get us started. Ty Ingalls, Mike Zarcone, Ryan Kress, and Andy Rettig for our season premiere. Hi everybody, I'm Paul Peck with Hall of Fame bowler Sue Nawojski. That's a great list. We're all excited to get a chance to see our #1 qualifier, Ty Ingalls.
Yeah, Ty averaged 262 in qualifying, and he only has to win one match today to be crowned our first champion.
At 23 years old, he is one of the rising stars in the sport of bowling. Everybody's going to try to knock him off, but we're getting excited for our first match. It's Andy Rettig and Ryan Kress, so let's get it started. It's the season premiere of Beat the Champ. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Latina Boulevard Foods, your favorite family in food distribution, and by the Bowling Proprietors Association of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today. And it's Kress versus Rettig to get us started. Ryan Kress, another one of those young, outstanding bowlers here in Western New York, 27 years old. And Andy Rettig, the veteran at 53, who's been around the bowling world of this town for a long time, won a lot of matches. The one thing that is the same in this is we've got two lefties.
That's right, so there won't be a lefty-righty advantage or disadvantage in this match. Here we go with the first shot.
And how about that to get us started on the season premiere of Beat the Champ, a strike in the first frame for Andy Rettig.
Now we're getting our first look at Ryan, also pretty down and in lefty. I would consider them both probably playing around the same area of the lane. Target pretty similar, and they'll be watching each other and each other's ball reaction.
And a little bit of a miss to the left there for Ryan Kress, so he'll have to do some work to take care of the first frame spare. 27 years old, Cheektowaga, New York native is Ryan Kress. Comes in with an average of over 230. And the nice thing for both of these guys is they've had some experience bowling on TV before, so once they kind of get over a little bit of all the dazzling effects of our setup here, they should be able to settle right in.
No, this comes across as a pretty professional atmosphere. I'm sure they're very excited and proud to be bowling on this. Ryan throws the ball a little straighter, kind of down and in. That one he didn't catch, and it came up light for him, and he made a pretty difficult spare there. So striking a spare, we're on our way.
So even though both guys have had some experience bowling on TV before, is there any adjustment for the bowlers? The glare, the lights, maybe the lights will heat up the lanes a little quicker than they normally would. What's the adjustment period there?
I think the biggest obstacle is that you're seeing the reflection of the logos on the board in their target zone areas. And so they have to kind of just block that out and focus on their target.
Well, Ryan was able to block that out with the second frame strike. Here comes Andy Rettig following up that first frame hit, and he will leave the 4 and the 7 on the left-hand side.
Yeah, Andy got that ball in a little bit. I think his target is a little bit closer to the second arrow. If you see, the ball is going to cross just inside of the second arrow, going towards the pins. Went up a little high for him. He did get that 10 out, though, avoiding the nasty split, leaving him a makeable spare.
And it is a makeable spare for Andy Rettig. So strike spare for each bowler in the first two frames. Andy Rettig, as we mentioned, has been around the bowling world here in Western New York for a long time. Outstanding 3 PBA regional titles, 24 career 300 games, and a high 850 series.
Yeah, Andy rises to the occasion in competition because he puts himself in the position to compete.
And this time he'll leave the 7 pin. That looked almost perfect all the way down the lane, and sometimes you get the bounces and sometimes you don't.
Beautiful shot right there, and ball just kicked around that 7 pin and left it for him, didn't knock it out. Should be a easy, makeable spare for anyone. We shoot these corner pins more than we shoot any spare out there.
That seemed to be a little bit of, I can't believe I missed that look on Andy Rettig's face. But he's able to salvage the spare in the third frame. And now we turn things back over to Ryan Kress.
Yep, right here, Ryan's got a strike up. He's got a strike working, so a strike here would give him a little bit of advantage, an extra 10 pins. He certainly wants this one.
And that was pretty.
Ryan changed balls there. He went to something with a little bit more surface. So, because saw the other one went light for him, went a little bit too long. We're going to hear he's got a more porous ball, so it's going to grab a little bit right there into the pocket.
Is that an unusually early ball change on the third frame?
Well, he saw right away that that ball wasn't going to make its move in the first frame, so he very wisely made the move real quick. You only have one game to make or break it.
And once again, much like the problem that Andy had on that same lane, he leaves the 7-pin. Since he's been 5 years old, he has been a part of the bowling world, has Ryan Kress, and stays busy bowling in 3 full-time leagues every week.
Yep, as we saw that again, the same kind of thing where the ball wrapped around that 7-pin, or the pin wrapped around that 7-pin, left the 7-pin standing. Another great spare.
So both guys are kind of feeling their way through things here a little bit at Transit Lanes, and had some moments of success, and as we saw last time for Andy, a little moments of angst there with the spare that he left. And I would say right now, as we're hitting the 4th, 5th frames, these guys will find their groove.
Yeah, right now Ryan has a 10-pin advantage, so Andy has to get on his game pretty quickly. Can't get too far behind here, you know, in a one-game match. One thing Andy has on his corner is experience. He's a coach, as we see some of his students here that he coaches, and he coaches for a college. And
Hilbert College in Hamburg, New York.
And you know, when you coach the game, it's you have more wiseness on your side.
Ooh, boy, what happened there?
Wow. That's going to put him in a tough position here. Let's take a look at this one more time. Got the ball inside his target. Really did hook up high for him. The ball's starting to read the lane a little early for him. We'll see if he's going to make an adjustment on that.
So he gets what he can on the left side, but it's an open frame here in the 4th for Andy Rettig. And all these guys are such good bowlers at such high levels. You're more surprised when you see something like that than anything else.
Yeah, that's a tough one there, because you're losing the count on the spare as well, because you're only leaving 5 on the first shot, so you're losing pin count as well as having a very difficult spare to make. There's a ball change there. Great
and
shot.
How about that for a bounce back?
Smart move on his part. He's now down 27 pins, so he's making a move pretty quick. There's a very good shot right there. He moved left, went with a ball that went more up the boards, not relying on the ball to hook as much, and that worked out real well for him.
Almost one of those that he absolutely had to have. Speaking of absolutely having to have to keep the pressure on Andy Rettig, Ryan Kress with a strike in the 5th.
Ryan's ball change has really opened it up for him, and once you see that ball change has gotten what you want, you got the carry, you got your angle to the pocket, it enables you to get a little looser, and you'll see his swing get a little looser.
So can he do 2 in a row here? Ryan Kress from the left side, and he'll just leave the 7-pin in the corner. Bolden High School here at St. Joe's Collegiate Institute in Western New York, and in college at Erie Community College. Had some good success through his career. Made the cut in the Obenauer Masters, which for Western New York bowlers, one of the premier events in this town. And Ryan Kress able to finish off a 6th frame spare. We remain tight. Match number 1, Kress versus Rettig. Back for the conclusion of this one on Beat the Champ.
From a legacy of excellence comes the Phase AI. With the innovative Power Edge finish, combined with TX16 Pearl cover stock, the Phase AI provides the perfect blend of length and hook. The Phase 2 set the standard. The Phase AI takes it further. Experience the evolution of performance.
Paul, what are you doing?
Hey, Sue. Hey, didn't you hear? We're bowling on MSG. I've got to practice.
No, Paul, we're not bowling on MSG. We're hosting bowling on MSG.
Oh, thank goodness, because there is no way I was going to be ready. Beat the Champ here on MSG. Sue Nawojski and I will bring you all the action. We'll see you on the lanes.
Paul, were you going to bowl in a suit?
Good crowd on hand here at Transit Lanes, Williamsville, New York, for our season premiere of Beat the Champ, and we're off to a good start on our first match, Andy Rettig versus Ryan Kress. So Sue, Andy has that tough shot open frame in the fifth. I guess the absolute way to bounce back from that and get it out of your head is to strike in the fifth.
Yeah, he's put himself here in a must-strike situation, as the gap between them is going to get a little bit further apart, and he knows his partner's very lined up. So great shot. Probably a little bit tentative because he doesn't know, he hasn't thrown this ball on this lane yet, and it's almost like the pins can feel when you're tentative. And good shot, left another 7-pin.
How hard or easy is it to get a bad ball out of your head?
Well, you really learn after doing this for a long time. You have to take a deep breath and let it go, because there's nothing you can do to get it back. So he made a very smart adjustment by switching balls, and he's now got his line to the pocket. Is he a little bit too far behind is the question.
Boy, really skirted the left side, and sometimes you need a little luck.
Now that one he missed to the left. As you saw, he got really close to the gutter, and but it bounced off that gutter perfectly and got the love tap.
That. How often does that happen?
The other shots, well, it really is just a good bounce, but he'll take that because he really needs it. Nice.
And again, Ryan continues to put the pressure on and not let Andy grab any of the momentum
Yeah, he's
back.
really lined up. And that ball change for Ryan was key to this match. It's giving him carry. That was a nice light hit. Got the swisher strike, pushed the 10 out, and that's what you want. You want the multiple hits. You want to be able to hit a little light and strike, high flush and strike, and then you're going to get really loose. Wow, that left lane, you know, sometimes it's a little bit of the rack. The rack can just be a little set up a little bit different, and there can be a space that you can barely even see, and this can be reoccurring on a lane. And so far, these guys have had a tough time getting the 7 out.
We've seen a lot of that 7-pin holding up, particularly on that left lane, maybe more than half the throws so far.
It's one of the most subtle things, and the answer to that sometimes is to get a different line into the pocket. And that's a tough change when you're talking about 3 frames left in the game.
All right, so still a lot of pressure on Andy to just continue to strike, because Ryan Kress has not let his foot off the gas.
Big ball.
And that's exactly what Andy does. Strike in the 8th. That's 2 in a row for him now.
And that's a critical place for that, because with Ryan leaving that 7-pin, let's look at this one more time. Notice that follow through straight over his head. That is a perfect follow through. And that puts him in a position now where he's closed the gap to 17 pins with another strike.
And I think what you're seeing here is a guy who's been bowling for a long time in his career, has dealt with every kind of piece of adversity and knows how to fight his way back from it. And a little
Big
gentle
shot.
tap on the 10-pin this time.
Look at him reacting to the
How about
crowd.
that? That's awesome. That goes back to my how do you forget about a bad throw like Andy had
Look
in
at
the
his-
4th frame.
look at that reaction.
You do that and you let the crowd help you stay in it.
That's it. Use that crowd to your advantage.
Those are members of his bowling team at Hillbrook College that were cheering him on. All right, can Ryan answer back?
There's that 7-pin again.
Yep. So
Seemed a little bit unsteady at the line. If you see, he wasn't solid at the line, even though he got that ball. He's got great reaction to the pocket. There's that always the threat of that 7-pin. Good spare, but
So that's back-to-back spares, 3 of the last 4 for Ryan Kress, where he had the opportunity to take control of this match. Instead, he's left the door open for Andy Rettig.
Absolutely. In this situation, I mean, now we've turned it around to Ryan in a must-strike situation because Andy's
10th frame, and that's a good way to get the 10th started.
But no matter what Ryan does, he can't shut Andy out because he's got the double up with that critical strike in the 9th frame. We always feel in bowling that 9th frame is your builder frame into the 10th, and a double leading into that, including the 9th, is put himself back in this match.
Right. Well, so what if you're Ryan Kress? You just want to make it as hard as possible. You know you can't win it here, but make it as hard as possible on Andy.
Good shot.
And that's how you do it.
That's the way. Now, if you notice, he's gotten up on this lane that everyone has 7 pinned on, made a slight adjustment to hit the pocket just a little bit more high flush. That tends to get that 7 out.
Is that what a good bowler will sense when he sees everybody leaving that 7 pin?
We kind of know that ring corner pin you have to hit into the pocket a little bit more high flush.
And he does exactly what he needed to do. Ryan Kress puts a 218 on the board with 3 consecutive strikes in the 10th frame. So now it falls on Andy Rettig.
2 strikes and 7 to win. He needs his first one right here, 1 at a time. That's all you're thinking when you're up there to bowl. It's 1 at a time.
No margin of error for Randy Rettig. 10th frame. And he will not get the bounce and the roll, and that means it's a victory and a handshake to Ryan Kress, the first winner in our season premiere. Sue, it was a tight match, but a good finish for Ryan Kress.
Right, it's an impressive finish for Ryan Kress against Andy Rettig, who seemed to have the momentum for him, going for him.
Ryan Kress will think about it for a moment, then have to get right back to work as he takes on Mike Zarcone. Match number 2's next. After a 218 to 201 victory over Andy Rettig, Ryan Kress moves on to match number 2 against Mike Zarcone, one of the legendary names of Western New York bowling. Not only because he's great, but because you can generally find him at a bowling alley around town 8 days a week, right?
Yep. Yes. Mike has definitely earned his reputation. He's no stranger to the television. He's no stranger to competitive bowling. And, of course, he came out of the gate very nonchalantly with a strike.
Yeah, so, you know, and again, Ryan Kress, as a younger guy, an up-and-coming guy, certainly knows that he is going to have to bowl really well to beat Mike Zarcone. Anybody that goes against Mike knows that. And I think the fact that Ryan got pushed pretty good in that opening by another long-time veteran, well-respected bowler probably helps him.
He did, and he made a very smart adjustment by changing to the new ball that has given him good ball reactions. I think he's missed the pocket since he went to that bowling ball. And just a challenge of getting out that 7 pin.
All right, it's only match number 2 of the 3 we're going to have here today, but at what point will the lanes start to change a little bit?
Well, the nice thing is we've got a mix of right-handers and left-handers, so no side of the lane is getting a whole lot of play, like dominant play. So in this case, now you've got Ryan, who, of course, there's been a little bit of play on the left-hand side, and Mike, who's coming in and had no play on the right-hand side, so he's got a very fresh shot, and that doesn't always make it better. He's ready for it. He is absolutely ready for it.
To this point, the lanes are providing no challenge whatsoever because we've got 4 throws and 4 strikes.
Take a look at this shot again. Perfect timing. He has a little bit of a shovel release, but Mike's carry has just been known to be extremely dominant. He has shot some monster scores, 865 being his high career series.
I was just about to say the thing about Mike is it's almost, he throws it the same way and gets the same results almost every time.
Very
and then as soon
consistent.
as I'm thinking that, then we see a rather unusual miss there for Mike.
Actually, that's just a very, very subtle high hit just might have been a little soft, came in a little bit high on the head pin. And this is like kind of ball that can trip. You can trip a 4-pin very easily, or, in that case, it was still wiggling when he made the spare.
So strikes in the first 2 frames for Ryan Kress, and now a little bit of an advantage after Mike Zarcone's spare in the 3rd.
Yep, he can take the lead here with the strikes.
There you go. Boy, he's finding a groove. So, Ryan has the advantage of having bowled already that one match, right? Figure some things out, you loosen yourself up, you warm up. Does that give him an advantage here over Mike?
I think the advantage here is that he's getting really comfortable with his ball reaction. You can see right there, not falling off his feet at all, very steady at the line, got through the shot. He's figuring it out that this ball is giving him pretty good carry. As I say that, he leaves a 7.
Almost got the bump there on the 7, almost. Not quite the Rettig bump that we saw from earlier in the match, but it was close.
It'll be interesting to see if that same thing happens on the right-hand side. So far, the way Mike's been entering the hot pocket, there hasn't been an opportunity to leave that corner pin, but you tend to see them when you're seeing the big break in the back.
56 years old, Mike Zarcone from Tonawanda, New York. Current average of 230, which sounds low for Mike Zarcone because, when we talk about his achievements, a past winner of the Obenauer Masters, considered the toughest and most prestigious tournament here in Western New York, and he's already an inductee into the Western New York Bowling Hall of Fame, and that happened almost 10 years ago. Just speaks to the incredible longevity and consistency in the career of Mike Zarcone.
There's another shot from Mike, looking a little bit of a light hit. He got that swisher hit. You saw a few pins late to get off the deck, and that means the ball just hit a little bit light. Sometimes the carry is better that way.
Fifth frame for Zarcone, and that's 4 strikes and a spare on the front side here of match number 2, and doesn't take very long for Mike Zarcone to get into the Zarcone zone that we all, any bowler around town knows all about.
Yep, we put a little pressure on Ryan here by putting that double up.
Well, that's how you answer.
Right now we're looking at a tied match. So
Perfect.
These two can't get any closer.
Perfect. Winner of this match will take on our high qualifier, that's Ty Ingalls, and determine who gets the crown of our season premiere Beat the Champ champion for week number 1. And much like we saw in the last match with Andy Rettig, all of a sudden rolling along until you're not rolling along.
Yeah, that ball came up high on him. He got it inside his target just a little bit. Came up high, and instead of just leaving the corner pin, and left the 7-pin with it, making it very difficult to split.
6, 7, 10. He's not going to be able to get them all, so that's an open frame in the 6th. So we're in a tight match. It's Kress versus Zarcone. We continue with match number 2 on Beat the Champ.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
12X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
I'm Paul Peck.
And I'm Sue Nawojski. We want to see you out here bowling for the top spot on Beat the Champ.
So get to any of our great host centers and get the details on how you can be a part of the show and be our next winner.
And don't miss any of the action here on MSG every week.
Yeah, so check out the show next week or get out there and qualify and be our Beat the Champ winner.
Match number 2 on Beat the Champ from Transit Lanes in Williamsville, New York continues. Mike Zarcone and Ryan Kress. And Mike with 4 strikes in the first 5 frames, trying to put the pressure on Ryan Kress, who had to sit and think a little bit about an open frame that he just had to deal with in the 6th.
Well, one thing Mike knows here is a strike here puts him in the driver's seat.
Yeah, wobble, 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 no.
Yeah, he went for that light swisher hit that's kind of been successful, but it was almost just a little too light. We're going to look at that again. Came off the dry, but still hit the 1-3 pocket, a little bit light.
That second wobble, I don't know how that thing even held up there.
Well, we're going to call that the Kress wobble, because without that wobble, Kress was in deep trouble.
Absolutely. All right, so, you know, again, this is such a mental game. Ryan has sat there for a couple of minutes thinking about, you know, the open frame and a you know, a not a very good shot while he watches Zarcone continue to build on his lead. How do you get that out of your head?
Well, Mike, he kind of got a break there by Mike not striking, so he's probably thinking about whether he should make a move off that last shot. Only he knows how he threw that ball. So if he felt like he was a little slow, he'll speed it up a little bit. So he's given it some thought, and I'm sure he's ready for, he has a plan in place.
Yeah, again,
didn't want to see that.
Similar problem. No, he needed a strike not only for the match, but for his own confidence a little bit.
Right. Right, so he's looking for that big break in the back end. As you see right there, his ball is starting to break late. That late break often creates ring corner pins. So it's his best shot to the pocket, but there's also the risk of a corner pin with that late break.
So in the back-to-back frames, open and spare, not what Ryan was hoping for, and certainly not what you want when you're bowling against a 7-time Buffalo Bowler of the Year in Mike Zarcone, that you know knows how to pounce when you leave the door open.
Right, but he's still only behind 11, and he's got 3 full frames to make a move and start there with a strike, start a string.
He needed that.
What he really needed to do, yes.
Yeah, he needed that.
So Mike does have a strike up, but for Mike, he knows, he has the pressure of knowing that he needs this strike to put a lot of pressure on Ryan.
Just so consistent is Mike Zarcone.
So consistent.
From the first step to the approach to everything. If we didn't tell you that was the 8th frame, it could have been the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th.
And the difference there is his ball is well into the 1-3 pocket, which is helping his carry percentage. You don't see him coming in late and ringing the corner pins.
Well, he's not going to have one today, but he has an amazing 151 career 300 games. 3 in a row for Mike Zarcone.
Yep, he knows. I think that's experience there, knowing that you don't want the ball to cover a lot of boards in the back end. He's keeping it closer to the pocket.
That's about as fired up as you're going to get from Mike, isn't it?
And he's taking advantage of those late hits.
He is the quiet assassin in a lot of ways, and that comes at the worst possible time for Ryan Kress.
That's a tough break for him coming high now, and he knows
you can see it on his face.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can.
He's just got to fill frames and, you know, hope for a miracle in the 10th, but this was a bad place for this spare.
Yeah, ninth frame, not where he wanted that to happen. He'll get the spare in the 9th, but again, this backside 6 through 9 open spare, strike spare is unfortunately just not what you have to do when you're bowling against Mike Zarcone.
No, the best Ryan can do is to shoot a 217, which is very respectable, but you've got Zarcone going at about a 230 pace.
So 10th frame now for Ryan Kress, and there's a nice bounce back.
Yeah, that's a confidence builder for him. He's been great on his spares. I mean, he did have the split, but very solid making those corner pins, making those spares.
I think
pressure situation.
The cool thing is you've got guys that are 20 plus years difference in age, but both are true professionals and really good at what they do, and it just gives you a sense of the depth of bowling talent in Western New York.
Absolutely. Ryan came in here, put a good show, took out Andy Rettig, which we know is no slouch.
So final roll here for Ryan Kress to finish things off. And he'll gently tap that one down for a 207. And now Mike Zarcone will finish things out here in the 10th frame. On his way to a victory and a matchup in our final showdown with Ty Ingalls.
It's his first
rung
corner
that
pin.
one pretty good, didn't he?
Yeah, probably didn't want to see that going in the next match. Was better off thinking that that corner pin wasn't going to be one of his issues today. So you never know how that can play in your mind, really. Good spare.
So Mike Zarcone with the spare. He'll have one more to post a final score that will clinch the victory. He's already clinched it over Ryan Kress. Get that big sweeper to the left, and the final score of 236 gives Mike Zarcone the win over Ryan Kress. So here we go, our final match. Mike Zarcone and Ty Ingalls. It is coming up next. We want to thank our host center for Beat the Champ, Transit Lanes. You can find them online at transitlanes.net. They are just one of our many great host centers. And if you want details on how you can be a part of Beat the Champ, just stop in at any of our host centers and ask how you can be on the show. We could be seeing you here on the lanes, and you are one of those host center proprietors. Sue, how excited are you to have this show up and running?
We're so excited, and we're so happy to be a part of this great telecast and the great job they've done putting this together. And I'm speak for all the proprietors and say how excited we are to have this back.
Yeah, it is awesome to have it back, and it is going to be awesome for our third and final match of the day because we get our first look at this guy. As we told you at the beginning of the broadcast, he is one of the rising stars, not just in Buffalo and Western New York bowling circles, but nationally, and his name is Ty Ingalls. He's just 23 years old. He is from Buffalo after moving here, having grown up down south in Georgia, but 23 years old, and as we tell you more about his achievements and accomplishments, you go, he's done that already? Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think that we're looking for at a future star here. He's got a tremendous game, which we're going to get a chance to take a close look at here as he throws his first shot. He is a two-hander, but he puts his fingers and thumb in the ball, which is very unusual.
And to some degree, that's where you get an unusual leave like that.
That's right, that power. So the only way to leave a 9-pin is for the ball to miss it. Here we come again. It's close to his hip. You see how his hands come out. His hand follow through doesn't go over his head like you would normally see. But the ball has so much power and drive that it misses taking out the 9-pin. A definite risk when you're a power player, high rev rate power player.
All right, so he's got to play the spare and grab that 9-pin, and there it is.
Equally important.
Yeah. So I asked Ty, how he evolved in the sport, and was he always a two-hander? And he said yes, from the day he started bowling, which was late at age 11. It's always been that way, and he's part of that younger generation that have now grown up that way. And then you get a guy like Mike, who is as traditional gets, but gets the job done as well.
Absolutely.
So the contrasting styles is really interesting in this match.
You'll see the contrasting rev rate. You'll see the difference in the ball speed of the ball. And Mike's looks almost like a slower ball speed. It almost feels slower when you're watching it. But his ball is working, and he knows how to. That's where you take your equipment. You adjust your equipment to how you throw the ball, what your ball speed is.
So after the strike in frame one, Mike Zarcone lines it up for frame number two. Remember, the winner of this match is our first Beat the Champ winner. and they will move on to next week's show to let those 3 other challengers come to them. And of course, that's the format here, the stepladder finals, but the winner of the previous week always gets to sit back and let everybody do the hard work the next week.
That's right. So the winner of this will be the high qualifier next week. So they, again, will be in the final match, just like you saw Ty come in today. So you only have to win 1 match to be the champion when you come from the top seed.
46 career 300 games already for Ty Ingalls, a career high 864 series, and he was part of the 2024 NAIA champions at the Savannah College of Art and Design, and again, that's just part of his amazing resume. And how about that late bump?
Now there's the other side of being a power player. You get that messenger to come across the lane and take out the 10 pin when you leave it. So he's using that. He's covering a lot of boards like we talked about where you leave the corner pins, but in his case he's got so much power that he slides the pin over to take that 10 pin out.
So, you know, for people that are watching, and you know, again, the two-handers have become so prominent at the highest levels of bowling, but, you know, as we talk about the contrasting styles, you have a lot more margin for error as a two-hander, because in some ways you don't have to be as precise because you're almost blowing the pins out of the back of the lane, aren't you?
What it is the rev rate that it creates does give an explosive reaction to the pin. So you do see a great carry, but the risk of it is very odd leaves. So this here is a wide open split. You'll see quite a few formations with these high rev rate, big power players when they do miss. Yes, when you hit the pocket, their strike percentage is very high, but then you leave some oddities like this that, but this is makeable. He can make this.
Well, he won't. He'll get the 2 of the 3, so that's an open in the 3rd frame for Ty Ingalls, who averaged, as you mentioned, Sue, 262 in his 6 games of qualifying to earn the top spot here in our season premiere of Beat the Champ. And, you know, and again, he's already a 3-time member of Junior Team USA, which is absolutely an incredible achievement and a indicator of future success.
Yeah, Mike didn't like that shot at all. He knew his timing was off right from the beginning. Right off his hand, you're going to see him get it in. He was unhappy. He said, oh, as soon as it came off his hand, coming high, leaving a tough 3-6, 3-6-10 spare.
How do you play this?
You just got to hit the 3-6. Got to hit the 3.
Gets the 6 and the 10, but he doesn't get the 3. So I guess that you call that a wash with open frames in the 3rd for both guys. So it hurts equally for both and doesn't help either one very much.
I think very much so. Both these guys would love nothing more than to come out of this as the champion from the first show for the premiere of this Beat the Champ. And there's a little pressure there, a little added pressure.
You know, and this show has such a wonderful tradition in Western New York, and you know, guys particularly like Mike used to watch it when they were kids, and you know, and learned of the greats like Nin Angelo and his long winning streak. And this show means something, and I think you're right. There's maybe a little more pressure on Mike because of where he is and what he's trying to do.
And then you're bowling like Ty posting that very high qualifying score, averaging 262. I mean, believe me, anybody who's bowling him knows what he's capable of. So there's another added dimension of pressure. And
that's the 2nd time he's had that messenger take out the 10 pin.
That's right. Now again, we're looking at a very big break in the back end. He's all the way to the right, late break from that break point, but that power that he has shoots those pins across the deck. Oh, do you like that?
How about that reaction? That's the kind of I can't believe I just did that
nothing
reaction.
we like more than the 7-10 falling down.
That's awesome. And that's a little more of what we expect to see out of Ty Ingalls.
That's right.
Where he is just perfect.
He did not get that one as far right, so the break was not as severe in the back end. But that just shows that he has a little bit of area out there, and he's going to realize that very quickly.
So now what Mike Zarcone needs to do, what he knows he needs to do, is he shook off that open in the third and now just keep the pressure on.
Just keep matching him.
Yep. And that's what we've got.
Little light hit, left the 5 pin sitting on the deck. Ball's wiggling just a little bit. We'll watch this. In the back end, you get that little bit of wiggle. See that 5 pin laying there? That's a light hit, but all 10 went down. Keeps them very close. 2 pin difference between these two guys.
They don't ask you how, they ask you how many, right?
Looks good on paper.
That's it. Still gets the X on the scoreboard. And, oh boy, Mike's thankful that that 10 pin went down late
Absolutely.
like that.
A little frustrating here. That ball is grabbing up a little early on him. And he's going to have to come back from break and figure out what his move's going to be next.
All right, so he'll play for this spare in the 6th frame. And a nice gentle roll, and the spare complete for Mike Zarcone. Not real happy about it. He knows he got to keep the pressure on Ty Ingalls. We got a great match going on here. More on Beat the Champ right after this.
From a legacy of excellence comes the Phase AI. With the innovative Power Edge finish, combined with TX16 Pearl cover stock, the Phase AI provides the perfect blend of length and hook. The Phase 2 set the standard. The Phase AI takes it further. Experience the evolution of performance.
Hey, Paul, what are you doing?
Hey, Sue. Hey, didn't you hear? We're bowling on MSG. I've got to practice.
No, Paul, we're not bowling on MSG. We're hosting bowling on MSG.
Oh, thank goodness, because there is no way I was going to be ready. Beat the Champ here on MSG. Soon Nawojski and I will bring you all the action. We'll see you on the lanes.
Paul, were you going to bowl in a suit?
All right, we're about to crown our first champion here on Beat the Champ. Will it be Ty Ingalls or Mike Zarcone? Tight match as we continue on here in the 6th frame. Ty Ingalls did not, as I mentioned, did not grow up here, but he lives here now, and he said moving up here to Buffalo has been great for his game because the level of competition is so good here in Western New York. Not that it wasn't good where he grew up in Georgia, but he said it's so much better here. It's made him a much better bowler.
Yeah, there's no doubt this is a bowling town. And I see that on that shot, too. He didn't get that ball as far right. He's going for the less severe break point. Let's take a look. He's only getting it out to about the 5 board, where before he was almost to the gutter. And he's not leaving those corner pins, not relying on a messenger to come take out those corners. Love that.
There you go. Look at that. Freelance sound designer and photographer, the occupation for Ty, and he seems to know where the cameras are, doesn't he?
Well, I'm
His
watching
reaction
him.
shots have been awesome.
Right, I'm watching him, and it's like watching a broadcast of someone that's bowled on tour or on TV many times.
A few times, not many. He said he's bowled on TV, I think, 3 other times before this. Mike Zarcone's bowled on TV, you know, way more than that, but at least enough for Ty to be comfortable and familiar, and he certainly looks like as this match is going on, he is getting to that point.
Right. Well, you can see a difference in the level of composure, and Mike looking like he was feeling a little dejected could be fueling his competition, feeling like they kind of got him where they want him. And you don't want to let your competitor get loose and freewheeling on you, which we're at that point right now where Ty's getting a little loose.
Yeah, but we know how hard Mike is on himself, right? He is as much a perfectionist with good reason because he's darn near perfect a lot in his bowling career here in Western New York, and I can understand why he did in that break sit a little bit dejected because he knows he's not maybe bowling
Right.
exactly to the,
I think he
to the
just-
standard he feels like he needs
Right.
to
I
be.
think he just saw something that occurred that he didn't expect to happen, and he had to sit down and think about it and decide how he's going to make the move. And he made the right choice here because he just struck on that lane, and he knew he had to finish on that lane. So the ball hooking up a little bit high on him had to make him sit down and think because he was going to have to finish, possibly throw 3 shots on that lane to finish up the match.
2 strikes in a row, 4 of the last 5 from Mike Zarcone, 4 in a row for Ty Ingalls.
That double was very important for Zarcone to put up on the board, and we'll see what happens here.
Runner-up to the College Bowler of the Year in 2022. The credentials for Ty Ingalls are amazing. Just out of college at the Savannah College of Art and Design and off and running on
A little bit of a
his-
break here. He got that one all the way to the gutter, turned around, tripped out the 2. That was actually
That's
a light
a power hit, isn't it?
Well, the power is what created the reaction to kick out that 2. That was actually very light. He got way too far to the gutter on that one. You know you're in good shape when those carry.
Frame.
Better shot. Wow,
Oh,
missed it that time.
Almost got that one to fly over. So does that leave the door open a little bit here for Mike Zarcone? We'll see.
Here it is,
That-
all the way to the right, late break. There's your 10 pin.
Ends the run of 5 consecutive strikes for Ty Ingalls.
Was hoping for that messenger.
Yeah, his reactions are priceless.
He is. Big spare. Good job.
All right, so a spare in the 9th for Ty Ingalls, and now Mike Zarcone with the pressure on, and he knows it.
A strike here will cut Ty's lead to 22. So this is a must-strike situation with
Almost
only
has
2
to, doesn't he?
with only 2 frames left.
There it is.
All right. Little high flush for him. That was going to have to be the best shot he threw today.
Pretty much was.
He got that just a hair high. We're going to watch that 7 pin fall a little late as that ball hits just a little bit high, if you see on the head pin, but it fell, and that puts him 22 down on Ty, but with the opportunity to take it to 12 here with another strike.
So Mike Zarcone has got to keep it going. 10th frame.
Can't throw it any better than that. That was his best shot. That was his best shot of the day. And he knows he needs all 3. Although
Yep.
he can't shoot Ty out, he certainly can make him work hard.
That's the goal right now, is if I can't win it, I'm going to do everything
And
I
you
can
never
to
know.
put the pressure on my opponent to beat me.
And you never know. As good as Ty throws it,
We've seen some tough misses
there's
for
all
Ty.
kinds of formations out there. Big shot for Mike
Second
here
shot,
now, though.
10th frame. There you go, boy.
Got that 7 out again.
He just knows how to lock it in.
He moved in a little bit off that, off the shot that he had in the 6th that he had to sit down and think about. He's moved in. He's playing deeper on the lane. Again, just a little high
Little
flush,
subtle adjustments.
but no risk of ringing a corner pin.
All right, here's the last roll for Mike Zarcone. Can he continue to put the
Big
pressure?
strike for count here.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ouch. So that's a 231 for Mike Zarcone. So Ty Ingalls is looking at 2 strikes and 5 pins to win.
Yeah, that's why it would have been really nice to get a strike on that fill ball, because forcing somebody to get 9 versus forcing somebody to get 5, anything can happen. But he still needs the first 2 here.
First roll, 10th frame.
1 at a time.
And he leaves the 4 pin.
Here's the 4 pin.
And you see Mike Zarcone's reaction.
Wow, that was a great finish by Mike to put the pressure on Ty to have to strike out.
And a
And-
little sly smile from Mike Zarcone there
There's
of
nothing-
satisfaction.
There's nothing he wanted more than to walk away with this title today.
Well, it may not be that he's not our first champion here, but Ty Ingalls has confirmed what everybody already knows, that he is going to be a guy to watch.
That's right.
Not only in Western New York and New York State bowling circles, but nationally as well. But
Ooh, showed us a little trick shot.
yes, he did. But if you're going to come for the champion, you better come all the way. And in this case, 5 pins short. Mike Zarcone, a 231-226 win over Ty Ingalls. Mike Zarcone is our Beat the Champ winner.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
Great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
12X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
I'm Paul Peck.
And I'm Sue Nawojski. We want to see you out here bowling for the top spot on Beat the Champ.
So get to any of our great host centers and get the details on how you can be a part of the show and be our next winner.
And don't miss any of the action here on MSG every week.
Yeah, so check out the show next week or get out there and qualify and be our Beat the Champ winner.
Well, what a way to get us started on the season premiere of Beat the Champ as Mike Zarcone knocks off Ty Ingalls 231-226. You had that open frame. We had a shot of you not looking very happy. What's going through your mind at that point, and how do you bounce yourself back from that?
Well, I was a little hair slow, so I made a little adjustment, 1 and 1 left, and it seemed to work.
Sue?
Yeah, I noticed that as well. And when you went back to the seat, I did make a comment on you looking a little dejected about that. But what I'd like to know is what plan you made to adjust to that, because at that point you struck out to force this match.
Right, like I said, I made a 1 and 1 move left, especially on the left lane, because it was starting to hook a little bit, and it seemed to work.
You've been around the bowling world in this town for a long time. You understand what being a champion on Beat the Champ means. How good does it feel for you to be that guy right now?
Yeah, I really wanted to make the first show, and to win it is even more sweeter, so it's awesome.
All right, well, now that he's got 1 under his belt, the idea is to keep winning them, and that's what Mike is going to try to do next week when there are 3 new bowlers going to come at him and try to take the title away from Mike Zarcone. It's been a great start to this show. We are excited. We'll see Mike Zarcone next week. We'll see you next week when we continue Beat the Champ from Transit Lanes in Williamsville, New York.